Welcome back to Sliver and Bite TV. Today, let's make the chocolatiest brownies ever. Let's start by lining our baking tin. So I've cut a piece of parchment paper off that would fit in the baking tin. And I've put the baking tin on top and then at the corners, cutting in diagonally from the corner to the corner of the baking tray. Once you fit that inside the baking tray, it'll fit perfectly. If it doesn't, you can slightly tear where the cut is and it'll fit in just nicely. And we'll set that off to the side. I'm using French pressed coffee for this recipe. You can use granulated. As you know, I love my coffee, so there's a little bit for me also. Now, this is a recipe for triple choc. However, the base of the recipe will remain the same, and regardless of what chocolate you put in, you'll want to coarsely chop your chocolate. If you do it too fine, it'll be lost within the brownie. You want a few big pieces in there because it's nice to bite into a gooey piece of chocolate. It's time to melt your butter. If you're putting it in the microwave, you want to make sure that you have it on a low wattage so it doesn't explode the butter all over the interior of your microwave. Pour all of that butter into a large bowl, making sure you scrape out every little bit of the butter. Time for your room temperature eggs. Make sure that you stab the yolk, otherwise you'll find it hard to mix into the butter. And ensure that the butter isn't boiling hot because you don't want cooked eggs. In with the espresso and vanilla. And combine. In with the brown sugar now. Make sure that you've got that 90% of the way incorporated into the butter before putting in the caster sugar. You want to make sure you're using caster sugar for this. The granulated sugar won't incorporate as easily. In with the cocoa powder and incorporate. Make sure you're gently folding and mixing this in. Any sudden movements and you'll end up with it all over your counter. Now the plain flour and mix that in. And I'm scraping down the large spatula because when it's full of batter, it's hard to get a clean swipe around the bowl to make sure that everything is incorporated. And I have 3 chocolates going in here, a 70%, a 45%, and a white chocolate. At this stage, you could also add in some additional flavoring or some nuts. Now you can bring over the prepared baking tray and pour in the batter, making sure that you get every last bit of it. And I mean every last little bit of it, even off of the spatula. And that's into the oven on the middle rack at 175 to 180 degrees for 30 minutes. And to check this, you'll start to see the cracking on the top and the center. And you can also use a bamboo skewer and make sure it comes out not completely clean. You do want crumbs on it because it'll continue cooking while it's cooling on the bench. Let it cool for 10 to 15 minutes and you can start cutting it up. I enjoy mine with my coffee, but it's also great as a late night snack. And there it is, moist, chocolatey, dense chocolate brownies. Thanks for joining me. Look forward to seeing you again soon.